folks, on our way down this section of our river here, obviously there's not a whole lot of really amazing things to point out in this stretch of the river. We are heading towards Old Fort Jackson right now, one of the highlights of our tour up ahead of us there. But folks, there's not a lot to look at here, but there is a pretty incredible story to tell you about as we're going by this area of the river right here. So think about this folks, starting from about where the concrete domes are at now, just behind us, stretching all the way down this side of the riverbank, all the way up to where those white tanks are at ahead of us. This entire area of land right here used to be one gigantic industry called the Southeastern Shipbuilding Corporation. And this is where they built 88 of the Liberty ships during World War II.
There's 3 more in the back, all for 25.
Just in case you've never heard of a Liberty ship
You have
before.
1 in the front, 3 in the back,
These
all
are
is
the boats that
25.
came about because places such as the UK especially were having a very rough go of it against the Nazis during World War II. Of course, not only was the Blitz of London happening, but you had a ton of these German U-boats sinking all this, you know, British before a little something called the Lend Lease Program. So, folks, real quick, just to kind of give you an idea of the scale of this program. Well, to this day, this program holds the record for being the largest transfer of wealth in human history from one country to another. That essentially being the British Empire to the United States. In fact, folks, because of this program, it's basically the reason why the United States is the world's bank to this day. It's why the dollar is the backup currency around the world as a direct result of this massive trading program during World War II. So yeah, this was not a small endeavor, right? And you know, if you know anything at all about the Lend-Lease program, what you probably picture in your head is row after row of tanks, planes, and bombs, and things like that that were produced for the war, right? Well, you know, you could build all that stuff as you wanted to if you didn't have a massive fleet of ships to get all this stuff where it needed to go. And what was the whole point, right? So somebody had to figure out a way to build these ships and build them incredibly quickly. There was a guy who did figure this out. His name was Tom Kaiser over in California. He designed these actually was Henry Kaiser over in California. He designed these vessels to be built in big assembly runs. Essentially, they'd build the larger pieces further inland. They would ship them to yards like this one that existed here, and an army of workers would just swarm these pieces and weld them all together. What was so incredible here, folks, is just how fast they were able to put these ships together. In this particular shipyard here, they could put together an entire 450-foot-long cargo ship, Liberty ship, in 4 weeks. Took them about a month to build an entire ship, which was completely unprecedented for the time. It was an absolute feat of engineering, logistics. You know, it's hard to imagine the manpower and, of course, the woman power that was involved in building these ships on such a huge scale and in such a short amount of time. Now, 4 weeks is pretty incredible, right? Well, over at the Kaiser shipyards in California, in a publicity stunt one time, they built an entire Liberty ship in 4 days. So it was possible. Now, albeit when they launched this Liberty ship into the harbor, it broke in half and sank. But, you know, still, they were able to build it in 4 days. Pretty incredible, right? But, you know, folks, I mentioned that 88 of these ships were built right here during the war, right? Well, more than 2,700 of these ships were built in total in the 18 different shipyards that were building them throughout the U.S. during World War II. You know, guys, there is a real reason why that generation is still known to this day as the greatest generation. You know, they didn't get that moniker only for what they had to do on the battlefront that earned it for them. But obviously, that's a huge part of it, right? All the people who had to fight and die and sacrifice everything to, you know, win that global conflict. That's a big reason they're called the greatest generation. But they say generation because they also acknowledge basically the other half of that generation, the millions of people who was on the home front in these massive factories and industries and shipyards, building everything necessary for the Allies to ultimately win that global conflict. So yes, folks, it is very important to remember not only what took place, you know, on the battlefront, but absolutely what took place in these massive industries during World War II. Just one more crazy fact I want to share with you about the shipyard, and I'm going to move on. I know people get bored when I talk about the shipyard too long. At least some of you do, but if you can't tell, it's one of my favorite subjects to talk about here. But in this one shipyard alone here, folks, more than 45,000 people worked here.
Margaritas on tap over there.
Just think about that. 45,000.
Marcy,
an entire
oh, we are sailing away.
Right here. Focused on one goal, and that was building as many Liberty ships as they possibly could during World War
didn't ask, but
Pretty
they were
incredible,
given
for sure.
something.